Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again for yet another reading month. If you're new here, hi, my name is Cece and I do this weird little thing where I look at the first sentence of the books on my monthly TBR and try to predict what kind of rating I'm going to give the book just based on that first sentence alone. I do not know which book these first sentence belong to. I have a total of 26 books on my TBR this month, so there's a good chance that they're actually completely mixed up in my mind and I can have no idea which book we're talking about. To make sure that I really don't know which book this is from, I have an amazing friend who compiles these sentences for me, and she replaces the name or places in the first sentence with either her name, Anni, or my name, Cece, so that I even cannot know from just the characters' names which book this could be. So you can see behind me in that shelf my TBR, as the letters say, at least the books that I do own physically already, so maybe you can take a look and try to find which books are on my TBR, because I'm not naming them. But what you can do as well is just open up the comments, play along, or take a pen and paper, whatever is your jam, and while I read the first sentence, make up your own mind. What rating would you give based on that first sentence? Please put them in the comments. I would love to know your ratings. I love when people play along and I hear what sentence they liked and how we're rating them differently. Also, feel free to give your opinion why you rate these sentences the way that you rate them. So let's just get started because it's already getting late and I need to go to bed and want to get this done before. So I have my reading order because also, if you don't know that yet, I need a schedule. I need something to determine a reading order because I cannot for the life of me pick the next book that I want to read. So at the end of this, I'm sorting the books from what I rated 5 to 2. I never really have a 1 star, I think. And then I have to read the 5 stars first. Also, if you're interested in any of these, I have the sentences in the description box, and behind the sentence is the name of the book title. So if you want to know any of the titles, look in the description box, it's there. All right, let's just get started. Let's stop chatting and let's get started. Ever since my mom died, I cry in the supermarket. Oh gosh, I love this. I love this a lot. This is an immediate 4.5. I feel like this first sentence already tells us so much. It is very vulnerable. It is very emotional. It tells us it's kind of contemporary-ish because supermarket is a newer word. So I'm assuming this could be a harder hitting book maybe, but I like the vulnerability and how this just opens up to I have these issues and we're going to talk about them in this book. Next. Never come to Hellfire House without wearing a mask. Oh, this hits home right now because it's like, where do we not go without a mask? But Hellfire House makes this interesting. This gives this a darker twist, which I do like. I don't like horror-esque, but I still feel like... Oh, is this like a mask in terms of I'm like a Gothic, Venetian, Renaissance kind of deal? I don't know. Let's give it 4. It's intriguing for sure. Next one is pirates, I called. Aim for the skies. Interesting. I'm not a very much a reader of like pirates and ship and everything, but I think that this is a really nice start. It shows that we're right in the action. It feels very dynamic. And I like that. I'll give that 4 stars as well. It's not as strong as the first one we had, but it's strong. The next one. The dissolution of Anni's home is not something to be lightly undertaken. It's a very interesting writing style. This writing style feels a little bit older or like a little bit more fantasy-like. I have a feeling that we've had this before, which is always a bad thing for my brain, because then I immediately start thinking, which book is this? Let's give this 4. I like the phrasing. I like the prose in this one. It's not too flowery, but it has a nice ring to it. There was a boy at the counter waiting for his coffee, nodding to the music. Okay, that's interesting, because this sounds a little bit flat to me. This could be the beginning of a love story, but I don't have love stories on my normally there's not a love story. I don't know, but this is, I mean, this could go really well, but it feels, compared to everything else that we've had so far, a little bit bland. So let's give this 3. I leaned against a marble pillar and cursed my mother while smiling nicely and wishing that at least one of the words leaving his mouth would make sense. That is interesting. That is very complex. And the writing style is very easy and kind of bland, but also not, I don't know how to explain it, but I think because of the long sentence, it feels a little bit more complex, but it uses very, very, very simple words. Marble pillar and cursed my mother while smiling nicely and wishing that at least one of the words leaving his mouth would make sense. It feels a little bit young, like maybe because of the word mother, but also like if something could just make sense. It feels a little bit snappy, annoying. Let's give this 3.5 because I cannot really grasp what this is. The next one, ... over 700,000 employees across dozens of colonized worlds. Huh? What kind of start is that? Are we starting in the middle of a sentence? That's interesting, but we have a hint here. 700,000 employees. That's a lot of employees. That's almost as many employees as some of the biggest companies. Amazon has a bit over 1 million employees. So just to put that into perspective. And then across dozens of colonized worlds, hints towards a sci-fi. I'm intrigued by starting a book with a half sentence. I have no idea if this is a mistake or if this is a style. Let's just give this a 5. We're just hitting it. I'm bold. I mean, this could go 2 or 5, so we're just hoping for 5. There were things Anni dreaded more than the start of school at Forestville High. Okay, so I like a school setting. So Forestville High, specifically I like high school setting, or like schools. What's the name for the school where you go to and where you sleep? I don't know. Like you know, like a Harry Potter kind of school feeling. I like that too. So this hint at this is interesting, but then Anni dreads. There were things Anni dreaded more than the start of school. So there's things that she finds worse, but I feel like the next sentence is going to say, but this is up there. This is an interesting premise. Let's give this 3.5. I have, the writing style just doesn't grasp me 100%. It hints towards tropes that I like, but the writing style itself does not. We slept in the room that once was the gym. That almost sounds like the beginning of a poem. I don't know, this has a little bit of a dystopian ring to it. Jim also hints towards a more contemporary book. And I'm not sure, it gives a little bit of a dystopian vibe, even though I don't think I have that many like dystopian books on my TBR. It gives it an interesting vibe. Again, the writing style does not 100% convince me, so I'm giving this a 3.5 as well. So far, our average is quite good, I think. The next one is, most people think cumulonimbus are the best cloud watching clouds, but Dad and I prefer Cirrus spicitus. What kind of first sentence is this? This is very, very interesting. So this hints towards an interesting father-child relationship, a very specific hobby and knowledge. I also, like, does your mind also gravitate towards, like, what could this book be? Which one is it? And I know which 26 books I put on my TBR, and keeping myself from being like, oh, I think that this could be this. It's so hard. I don't know. Let's give this 3 stars. It feels kind of middle grade-ish, and I'm quite sure that I don't have a middle grade on my TBR, which means that we have an adult or a YA book that sounds middle grade-ish, and I don't like that. Anni crept along a ragged fence in a crouch, his boots scraping the dry ground. I like this a lot. Should we give this 5? Let's give this 5. This is not only straight in the action, it has a certain aesthetic to the sentence that I like. Maybe it's just that the boots scraping the dry ground, and I am for some reason very fixated with the sound of walking on uneven grounds. You know, when you're walking on stones or on grass and you hear that from, like, for some reason I love that sound so much. Or on snow. I don't know, I love that sound. So maybe that's why I feel this. But there's a lot more. Along a ragged fence in a crouch. Crept along a ragged... There's some... No, it's not too literal. There's not too much prose. It's not too flowery, but it has a nice ring. I like it. I hope I'm going to like this book too. Professor Anni looked at one of the terminals and saw the icon for his unopened message. This has a very sci-fi feel as well, because we're not talking about a terminal and not like laptop or something that would sound a little bit more contemporary. Even though we have terminals now, it just feels more like sci-fi. It's an interesting writing style. It's a little bit, well, it's not interesting. It's interesting that this writing style is in front of me. It feels a little bit bland. Let's give this 3.5. I have a feeling this could be worse though. Anni pulls over into the fire lane at the main entrance of the Pole building, an Art Deco tower glowing white in the illumination of its exterior sconce. What? That sounds weird. Pulls over into the fire lane at the main entrance of the Pole building, an Art Deco tower glowing white in the illumination of its exterior sconce. This feels a little bit too... I'm fancy. I want to be fancy. This sentence wants to be fancy, and I'm not here for it. Let's give this 3. Anni summed up succinctly the meaning of books displayed on shelves while considering how books and bookcases used as set dressing in his plays and films. What? The meaning of books displayed on shelves while considering how books and bookcases used as set dressings in his plays and films. This is, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that this is true, but I'm just going to give it a 2.5 because I'm not feeling this. I'm just not. Oh, this is a long one. Okay. In the far reaches of an infinite cosmos, there's a galaxy that looks just like the Milky Way, with a solar system that's the spitting image of ours, with a planet that's a dead ringer for Earth, with a house that's indistinguishable from yours, inhabited by someone who looks just like you, who is right now reading this very book and imagining you in a distant galaxy just reaching in the end of this sentence. This is a 5-star. I love it. Within one sentence, this has me hooked and I want to read this immediately, and I need to give this 5 stars so that I can read this immediately. So we have, that's a parallel world sci-fi right there. Like, there's no doubt about it. But I love how they're setting it up and how it's like there's somebody just, it makes it very personal, and I love that. Interesting style. I like it. In the 18th century lived a man who was one of the most gifted and abominable personages in an era that knew no lack of gifted and abominable personages. This right here, my friends, is a 5-star for me because I want to read about an abominable personage. This feels like it might be about a character that is going to be very intriguing to me because I like the darker human mind. I love villains. I love evil, human evil characters. I'm not like a horror monster reader, but I love evil humans. I love villains. And this gives me that feeling. Even though 18th century is not necessarily an era that I prefer to read about, I love this vibe about one of the most gifted and abominable personages in an era that knew no lack of gifted and abominable. There's a nice ring to it that really tickles me the right way. She would come at daybreak, the woman whose letter I held in my hands, the woman whose name I did not know. That is intriguing as well. I'm going to give this 4.5. This intrigues me enough to want to know more. We have female protagonists, we have letters, but we don't know who they're from. So there's some air of mystery just within one sentence. And this, she would come at daybreak, gives it a really mysterious vibe, which I'm here for. This could be even an October book just from this like sentence. Next, I had arrived, ready to start anew, with nothing but 2 trunks, a mouth of deceptions, and my broken memories. Oh, hell yeah, I'm here for that. That is a broken person starting new, but I love this writing in a way because I mean, we have no idea where this is going. We don't know how they're going to be crushed in the second or third sentence. But the combination of with nothing but 2 trunks, so like material, a mouth of deceptions. So is this person going to be deceiving people? Is this person going to be potentially an evil, villainous character? And my broken memories. So we have somebody who has to start new and does it in an interesting, intriguing way, and is not going to shy away from doing things that others might not. That sounds like a morally great character that has been broken, but that does not blame the being morally grey on being broken, which is a trope that I hate. A boy is... I'm just realizing that I hate that trope, but I love it in Spike because it's done beautifully and it touches me and I feel the pain. I am such a hypocrite. Sorry. Let's move on. A boy is coming down a flight of stairs. That bores me. That bores me. Obviously, throughout the whole paragraph, this could be really good, but let's give this 2.5. Ooh, and now we have the two Anni had his lead wife, Cece, with him on that last night. And this is where Anni told me that this time I appear as well, probably because there were 2 character names in the same sentence. Anni had his lead wife, so we're talking multiple wives. We're talking with him on that last night. So last night, are we ending his life? Are we getting ready for some more? Let's give this 4 stars. There is some intriguing aspects in there, but this could also go very, very wrong. And just since I know that I don't have love stories on my TBR, the chances for it to go wrong are a lot less than it to go right. And this is much more likely something sci-fi-esque or something weird in a positive way. What does the American flag mean to you? So I think that we had this last month as well. And last month I didn't feel it, but this month I think I'm here for it. I feel some Maybe it's July 4th coming up that I feel the patriotism. I'm not American, so I shouldn't feel patriotism there. But I have been living with so much Americanized shit around me and an American husband for a while that I still relate patriotism to the 4th of July. And I love the 4th of July as a holiday as well, by the way. So I'm feeling that patriotism. So let's give this 4 stars. I'm pretty sure that this book is going to question patriotism, though, because that sentence, what does the American flag mean to you, is just a setup for, like, let's question that, which I'm here for. So, okay. She sprinted through the darkened street, glancing over her shoulder every other step, little more than an instinctive reaction, as she could see next to nothing in the blackness behind her. Whoo! 4.5. I want to know what's happening. I don't usually have thrillers on my TBR a lot, so this could be a fantasy book that has a thrillery aspect, or at least a thrilling start. That's probably better put. It has a thrilling start, and I want to know what happens to her. I hope she's okay. Or maybe she's going to be a delicious victim for a delicious villain that we're going to follow along with. I love that too. I hope she's okay, and I hope she's a victim at the same time. That is a ridiculous thing that happens in my mind, but here we are. Next. The sound of laughter and music were dying down, the party breaking up by bits and pieces as even the rowdiest guests finally stumbled into the elevators and down to their homes. I think we've had that before as well, and this sentence bores me. This just, I don't know, the way that it's written, not necessarily the content, but the way that it's written just bores me. So I'll give that 2.5. And I'm a little bit annoyed with myself for rating it low again, potentially. I don't know if I've rated it low before, but if this has been on my TBR before, I obviously didn't get to it, so it probably was rated low. And I'm going to have to put it on my TBR again to finally read it, potentially, but because with a low rating, the chances that I'm going to get to it are quite low as well, but it just bores me, okay? Next. Anni, lawman for hire, swung off his horse and turned to face the saloon. Wait. I don't have Western. Do I have Western on my TBR? That feels very Western. That's probably the Sanderson. I did not want to guess, but hello. Let's give this 4 stars. That's ridiculous, because I think that this is the Sanderson. I'm now giving it 4 stars, not based on the first sentence, because I am not into Western. Or am I? I don't know. No, I'm not. This is tough. Okay, I need to change my, because I would give it 4 stars if I know this is the Sanderson, but because it feels very Western, I'm going to give it 3 stars, because that is more real to what we're doing here. Next. I powered up the transporter and said a silent prayer. Okay, this is a good setup. I like this setup. Let's give this 4 stars. In this short sentence, we already have some tension that I need to have relieved right now. I already know that after this, I'm going to look up which books. There's like 3 or 4 where I need the first paragraph to know what's going on. I need to know if this girl is okay. I need to know, yeah, there's a few that I need to immediately know the second sentence. And this is one of them. And the last sentence is, in the first hot month of the fall, after the summer she left Anni, the summer Anni left her, the summer Anni stopped living in Beverly Hills, Cece drove the freeway. What? This sounds confusing. In the first hot month of the fall, after the summer she left Anni, the summer Anni left her, the summer Anni stopped living in Beverly Hills, Cece drove the freeway. This sounds like such a love story thing, which cannot be true. I don't have love stories. Do I? Do I? I don't know. but this is confusing. There's a few things that I like. I like that this that we're talking about Beverly Hills. I have no idea what book is set in that area, but I do like that setting. I don't know. Shoot, this sounds so like dramatic and like about like people that I. Let's give this 3.5. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but what else is new? Anyways, this is it. I want to know your ratings. Let me know. Put them down in the comments. And yeah, is there any book that based on these first sentences that you know you want to know the second sentence to now as well? That way you need to know how it's going to continue. Or have there been any first sentences that clearly told you to stay away from this book now, that have completely turned you off? Let me know down in the comments what you think. I'm so interested in hearing all of your thoughts. And I'm ready to get reading now, because now I can determine which one is the first book I'm reading, because now I have an order. Thank you. All right, thanks for sticking this out with me. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again on my channel real soon. Until then, bye.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that